Started. First of all, happy Tuesday. Thanks for showing up this morning. The physical practice that we're about to move into is one that is focused primarily in our hips and then twists, so hips and twists. I want to focus the twist portion kind of more in like the mid to upper back space. So when we're working with our hips and twists together, it's like your pelvis is like the base of your spine. It's where your spine settles into. And so having a really sturdy pelvis allows us to twist in a healthy way for our spines. And oftentimes though, we kind of get stuck in the lumbar spine when we're twisting because we go maybe a little bit deeper, or what appears to look like we're going deeper. But for today, I want to maybe encourage you to move that energy up into like the mid to upper back, kind of around the shoulder blades in particular. So some of the shapes that we'll be taking feel maybe more like shoulder blade opening, like mobility around the scapula, or heart opening. But that's to get us into more mobility around the spine, the upper back. The heart space intention that feels true to talk about this morning I came across this in this like online course that I'm kind of casually moving through, and it's about mindfulness. And one of the descriptions of mindfulness, like the first intro section, is just all these descriptions of what mindfulness is to different people, or different ways to kind of look at mindfulness, perceive mindfulness. And one that really stuck with me was mindfulness is a way to skillfully meet imbalance, right? It is a way to, when we're approached with something that's out of balance, right? A challenging thing in our life, a challenging moment in our life, relationship, conversation, whatever it might be. When we meet something that causes imbalance in our system, right? The anxiety that pops up in a challenging moment, how do we do so skillfully? And yoga provides us with so many tools to help support us in that. Right? We have our breath to calm the body and the mind, to create that focus point. And we have the awareness of what thoughts are moving through, right? That allows us to look inside and see, how am I speaking to myself in this moment of challenge or imbalance? And can I skillfully adjust the tone of my thoughts a little bit? So today, as we move across our yoga mats in a skillful way to open the body, can we also see what happens in those challenging moments and meet them skillfully as well? So we're going to start a little bit differently this morning. I want to start on the belly in belly down Shavasana. And so if that feels okay, you'll lie flat on your stomach. The toes of your feet go to the back of your yoga mat, the crown of your head to the top, and then you'll make like a little pillow with your hands for your forehead. You can also turn a cheek to the side if that feels better. If the pillow doesn't work, just find your way into any belly down shape, or if you prefer, you can also start in seated meditation. Yeah. And just take a moment to settle in. And if it feels okay, close your eyes. And as you start the process of deepening your breath, as you breathe down into the earth, you can feel that feedback as you breathe into your belly presses into your yoga mat. Connection between you and the steadiness below. And as you exhale, feel how the emptying of your lungs allows you to sink in a little bit deeper. Okay, one of the huge components, right? Maybe most important components of mindfulness is the connection to the present moment. In order to meet any challenge skillfully, right, requires us to connect to the present moment and to be aware that we are out of balance, right? To recognize what's happening in our system. And so as you breathe down into the earth, maybe every inhale that reaches into your belly and into the ground, right? You say to yourself within your mind, right, I am here. And with every exhale, as that breath empties away and you drop a little bit deeper into the earth below, you say to yourself, all distractions melt away. And so with every inhale, and I am here. And with every exhale, and all distractions melt away. And so we call ourselves into this moment through our breath, through our bodies. We feel ourselves arrive together. In body, heart, mind, all in one location. And yes, you're on your individual journey on your own yoga mat. We come here as a collective group to support each other with our collective energy. And so we'll take 3 rounds of clearing breath together. And maybe the intention that you breathe into in these 3 rounds of clearing breath is that to think about how you can more skillfully meet your moments of imbalance. And what does that mean for you? Because that'll look different for you than it will look for me and from anyone else. So take a deep breath in through your nose, down into your belly. When you're ready, clearing breath out, let it go. Again, breathe in through your nose, down into your belly. And as you're ready, exhale to release. And then one more time, your deepest breath in. And the cleansing breath out. And then let your breath continue through your nose. And from your belly down, Shavasana. And go ahead and slide your hands out to the side. You're going to set up for a Gecko Pose. So take your fingertips kind of by your low ribs, but wide on the outside edges of your yoga mat. So that your elbows are stacked over your wrists. And then squeeze your finger pads. And on your inhale, lift your heart and your mouth. You don't have to lift very high since it's pretty early in practice. On your exhale, you're going to dip your left shoulder towards the midline, look over to the right. And on your next breath in, go ahead and lift your heart through center, nice and tall. Into that height that feels comfortable for your low back. Exhale to dip your right shoulder to the midline and look over to the left. And then follow your next breath in and lift up through center again. And on your exhale, pull your heart forward and lower all the way down. Then bring your hands by your low ribs to set up for a low cobra. And pull your navel into your spine, anchor your toenails to the earth. And on your next breath in, lift the back of your heart space. So let the lift come from your elbows reaching towards the wall behind you. Then in towards the midline. And stay here for one more breath in. And your exhale, go ahead and lower back down. And one more low cobra on your inhale, lift through the back of your heart space. This time as you exhale, it's a little bit of a funky transition, but you're just gonna walk your elbows to stack beneath your shoulders, so you're in Sphinx pose. So your forearms are 2 parallel lines at the top of your yoga mat. Elbows beneath your shoulders, wrists in line with your elbows, push down through your forearms to lift your heart. And continue to pull your navel to your spine so you get a stretch through your belly. You're gonna try to keep your upper body the same here, so nice and high through your chest. Start to bend your right heel towards your booty. That's a little hamstring curl almost. And then we're going to take our right toes over towards the left, kind of like a wild thing. So push down through your forearms. You're going to take your right toes towards the left side of your yoga mat. You'll roll onto the outside of your left thigh a little bit. Then push through your forearms to lift your heart again. It's kind of like a reverse twist. And then pull your heart through. Think about trying to touch your left shoulder with your right toes. And trying to create as much length between your sternum and your right knee as possible. You have the option to reach your right fingertips out in front of you. And then press down with your finger pads as you reach back through your right knee in the opposite direction. And breathe into your upper back for one more inhale. And on your exhale, back to Sphinx pose. Back to that starting point, unwind. Take a breath in, pull your heart forward and through. On your exhale, bend your left heel towards your seat, and we'll take second side. So left toes are going behind you. They don't need to touch the earth. They can float in space. As you roll onto the outside of your right thigh, you're going to pull your heart forward and through. Navel to spine, try to press down into your forearms so you keep the height of your chest. Again, your left toes are going towards your right shoulder, and your left knee is reaching back in space. Maybe reach your left fingertips forward to extend that line of energy from your left knee, and push down with your finger pads so the area around your shoulder blade begins to kind of light up. And then from here, release back into our Sphinx pose. Go ahead and let your elbows go wide, belly down, Shavasana, lower your forehead to the earth. Just take one breath into your low back. When you're ready, slide your hands by your low ribs again and press into a child's pose. Push your hips to your heels. Feel your sits bones will reach towards your heels to get all that extension through your spine, and take one breath in. And one breath out. And go ahead and shift forward to your tabletop pose. As you find tabletop, right, shoulders over wrists, hips above your knees. Inhale to a cow shape. Lift your heart, lift your tail. On your exhale, curl to your cat pose just one time. You're gonna really push down with your hands. And as you round your spine, see if you can completely release the weight of your head. So completely let your head go. Good, feel that space around your shoulder blades, and then go ahead and find a neutral spine. This shape's a little bit funky, so hopefully it will translate over Zoom. You're gonna take your left knee and just scooch it towards the center of your yoga mat. So still in line with your hip, but left knee is going to the center of the yoga mat. You're gonna cross your right knee behind. It's almost like eagle legs. And then split your shins wide. So your right ankle is going towards the left edge of your yoga mat. Your left ankle is going to the right edge of your yoga mat. Then you're gonna start to press your hips back in space. This is the version of Gomukhasana. Your left knee might float off the earth. You flex through your feet. Good. Take a breath in here. And a breath out here. And as you shift forward and your left knee lands to the earth, start to unwind your legs again. And then keep your left knee where it is and send your right toes to the back of your yoga mat. And we're going to open up to the right into a modified side plank. So kickstand your left toes behind you. As you spin the right foot to the earth, reach your right hand to the sky. And then take your right hand behind your head, right elbow nice and wide. Press your head into your fingertips, take an inhale. On your exhale, you're gonna curl like a cat spine, round your right elbow in the direction of your left elbow. Think cat spine, push through your left hand, pull your navel in. Okay. Your right elbow is not actually gonna touch your left, you're just curling in towards it as you push the earth away with your left hand and through your left knee. And inhale to open back up, reach your right hand to the sky. On your exhale, you're gonna bring both hands down to the earth. Spin onto the ball mound of your right foot, and then bring your left knee to your nose. And if you're like, I got lost throughout any of that, you're in a plank with your left knee to your nose. And then slowly start to send your left leg to the ceiling, find your three-legged dog. And then bend your left knee and open your hips. You're like a dog at a fire hydrant. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. So a big wide step forward for our lizard lunge. You can help your leg there. Yeah, with your left foot on the outside of your left hand, go ahead and drop your right knee to the earth. Maybe scooch it back a bit, pull your heart forward. Then you can stay right here or take a twist, reach your left hand to the back of the room. Yeah, option to pull your right heel to your seat. If that connection for twisted monkey is available, your left hand can catch your right foot. If that's a little bit too much too soon, or that's just not accessible in your body, no worry, just breathe where you're at. Well, from here, you're gonna slowly start to release your right leg long. Bring your left hand on the inside of your left foot again. Okay, tuck your right toes underneath and lift your right knee off the earth. So you're in this lifted lizard lunge. Okay, push through your hands, push through your right toes, draw your navel to your spine. One-legged plank, reach your left heel back in line with your body. Okay, so one-legged plank, this could also be a high plank if that feels better. Take a breath in. Then exhale, take your left knee to your right tricep. So left knee crosses underneath your body. Okay, from here, step back into a high plank pose. On your inhale, shift forward. Chaturanga, knees up or down. We're gonna lower halfway through our tricep push-up. And open your heart up, dog or cobra, big breath in. Cool, downward facing dog. Let your exhale, lift your hips up and back. And as you inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, tabletop pose, drop your knees to the earth. Bring your right knee to the center. And then cross your left knee behind. So it's almost like eagle legs. Left knee is behind. Split your shins out wide. And start to send your hips back in space. It's okay if your right knee lifts off the earth. We're reaching into a hip stretch, so outer hip stretch. You might press your left shin energetically down into the earth. And the wider you get your feet, usually the more the outer hip reach into. And take one more breath here. And then start to shift forward. As you unwind your legs, keep your right knee where it is and send your left toes to the back of your yoga mat. Modified side plank, open to the left. So right toes kickstand, reach your left hand to the sky. Yeah, good. And then take your left hand behind your head. Pull your front ribs in and press your skull into your fingertips like you're leaning your head back in space. Elbow opens back. That stretch around your shoulder blade as you inhale. Now on your exhale, think about like catting your spine down towards the earth. So round your heart down towards the ground. Push into your right hand. Pull your left elbow in the direction of your right elbow and curl. So just like that cat action in our tabletop pose. And then inhale to open back up, left hand goes to the ceiling. Cool, bring both hands to the earth. You're gonna come onto the ball mount of your left foot and bring your right knee to your nose this time. So you're in a plank with your right knee to your nose. Okay, shoulders are over wrists, thighs high into your chest. Three-legged dog, send your right leg to the ceiling. Then bend your right knee, open your hip. Try to use the strength of your right glute to lift your knee up high as you inhale. Then look forward and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand with your exhale. Maybe help it there. Let your left knee start to lower down to your yoga mat and pull your heart forward. And then an option to twist. Maybe your right hand's gonna reach back in space. Maybe you pull your left toe to your seat and maybe you catch your left foot with your right hand. Then energetically wrap your left rib cage, okay, your left ribs, over to your right thigh. Let your right shoulder lean back in space. Take one more breath here. And as you bring your right hand on the inside of your right foot, tuck your left toes underneath and lift your left knee off the earth. So this big lifted lizard lunge. Push the earth away, one-legged plank, reach your right heel back. Navel to spine, take a breath in. Right knee to your left tricep. Exhale, your right knee crosses underneath your body. Good high plank pose, right foot meets your left. On your inhale, shift forward. Vinyasa or down dog. So either move through your chaturanga, that high to low plank, heart opening, or just go right back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose together. Maybe an open mouth exhale to release. Okay, from your downward facing dog, go ahead and inhale your right leg to the sky. Okay, bend your right knee and open your hips here to dog and a fire hydrant again. Take a big breath in here. Now keep your right hip open and take your right knee to your right shoulder. So as you go right knee to right shoulder, think about using your glute strength as well as your core. A three-legged dog, breathe in, reach your right leg to the sky. And on your exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand again. So you have this big wide stance. Make sure your right foot's on your yoga mat though. And then spin your left heel to the earth. So your feet are like that of a warrior two. Now I recognize this is pretty deep. So you might come up to your right fingertips or a block underneath your right hand. Take a deep side angle, reach your left hand at the ceiling. So your right upper arm bone is going to encourage your right knee open. Again, fingertips on the right hand or a block underneath the right hand can be helpful if your hips are like super sticky. Reach your left hand overhead as you breathe in, towards the front of the room. And then wide-legged forward fold, turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat as you breathe out. So in your wide-legged forward fold, take one slow breath in. And one slow exhale, starting to open the hamstrings. Then take a half lift, start to lengthen up through your spine. Bend your left knee so you're in a side lunge and stay up a little bit higher for the side lunge instead of going to Skandasana just yet. So left knee is bent, right leg is long. Press your feet down into the earth and imagine pushing your feet away from one another. And then you can walk your fingertips forward out in front of you if you want and dive your heart down low. So it's like heart melting pose within your side lunge. Head low, hips high, take one more breath here. If you walked your hands out in front of you, go ahead and walk your hands back in. And we're going to take a turn to the left, so you're in a low lunge to the back of your yoga mat. And tip your weight into your left foot, find a gentle standing split. Lift your right toes to the ceiling. You can have some softness through your left knee. Let your head get really heavy. And then take a big breath in here. And on your exhale, Shiva spot, we're going to bend both of our knees. Tap your right knee towards the outside of your left calf or left ankle. So instead of going to the back of your calf, go towards the outside. Then push down through your left heel, standing splits on your inhale. Now we're going to take that 2 more times in slow motion. Bend and tap towards your Shiva squat. Let your booty get really low, lift your heart. And then push through your left heel, standing splits on your breath in. And one more time, bend and tap, Shiva squat. And inhale to your standing splits. Right toes are going to the back of your yoga mat. We're going to sit up for a high crescent lunge. As you land your right toes, go ahead and push through your feet, lift all the way tall, big breath in. And follow your exhale to goddess, your elbows wide. Open through your chest, collarbones broad. And inhale to your crescent lunge. Again, reach your hands to the ceiling. We're going to prayer twist our right elbow with the outside of our left thigh. And so if you need to adjust your feet, you can always wiggle your feet a little bit wider. You can make your stance longer. The right elbow's outside of your left thigh, and you're going to twist your heart to the left. Now, if you want to drop your back knee to the earth, feel free to do so. Sometimes that helps with the stability of the pelvis. Then think about your left shoulder leaning back towards the wall behind your heart. And wherever you are, take one more breath in. As you push into your feet, just bring your hands down to the earth to frame your left foot on your yoga mat. Okay, press the earth away, three-legged dog. Lift your left leg to the sky on your inhale. And then bend your knee and open your hip, breath out. Take a breath in here. Keeping your left hip open, take your left knee towards your left shoulder. So think glute strength strong, shift forward. Three-legged dog, strong through your center, left leg re-extends to the sky. Perfect, and then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, but on your yoga mat, so your left foot's at the very edge of your yoga mat. Rotate your right heel down to the earth, so you have like this wide warrior two stance. Left hand will stay low, reach your right hand to the ceiling, so you're in that deep side angle. And again, you want to come up to your left finger pads, you can, or if you're using a block, a little more height, feel free to do so. Now your left upper arm bone encourages your left knee wide. Can you wrap the kind of head of your femur bone, your thigh bone, this area of your thigh that comes into your pelvis, forward. And reach your right hand overhead, one big breath in, that long line of energy from right fingertips to right heel. Wide-legged forward fold, turn all 10 toes to the long edge and dive down. Then take a halfway lift, deep breath in. Bend your right knee for your side lunge. So right knee bends this time. Yeah. Encourage your right knee energetically wide and press your feet in the opposite direction of one another. Option to wander your fingertips forward out in front of you and then dive your heart towards the earth. It's kind of like puppy pose in our side lunge. Take a big breath into the back of your heart space. And a slow breath out. Now if your hands are forward, go ahead and wander them back beneath your shoulders. And rotate to the right to the top of your yoga mat, so you're in a low lunge facing forward. Tip your weight into your right foot, standing splits, pull your left toes to the sky. Remember, you might have a pretty generous bend in your right knee. Take a big breath in here. On your exhale, begin to find your Shiva squat. So bend and tap your left knee towards the outside of your right lower leg. That might give you a little bit more room to get lower. Push down with your right heel to slowly send your left toes to the sky. Now, same thing, bend and tap. Maybe resist gravity on the way down. We're going to push down into the earth, press up against gravity as your left toes find standing splits. Maybe one more time, slowly bend and tap. And push down with your right foot, re-extend standing splits. Cool. Head to your high crescent. Land your left toes to the back of your yoga mat, feet about hips distance apart. Push through your feet and inhale to rise all the way up. Yeah, beautiful. Exit and gaze your elbows open. Lift your heart to the sky. Breathe your fingertips tall to the ceiling. Then prayer twist your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. So remember your options, back knee up or down. Hey, if your feet feel like they want to be somewhere other than where they are, go ahead and move them. Good. Try to bring your left hip a little bit wider away from your right. And lean your right shoulder back. Okay, I know that's a lot. Go ahead and push to your feet. Bring your hands down to the earth to frame your right foot. You're in a low lunge. As you root into your hands, three-legged dog, lift your right leg to the sky. Big breath in. Right, bend your knee and open your hip as you breathe out. And step your right toes behind you into wild thing, or stay in your half dog if you prefer that. So stay where you're at or take your wild thing, lift your heart to the sky. Good. On your tippy toe of your right foot, right, the knife edge of your left foot, for that power as you push the earth away. Three-legged dog, re-extend your right leg to the ceiling with your breath in. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand again on your exhale. As you spin your left toe to the earth, deep side angle, reach your left hand to the sky. And go ahead and push down with your feet this time. Head to warrior two. So keep your feet where they're at, but lift up to your warrior two. Just gonna feel the difference within your pelvis. Settle into your lunge and go ahead and reverse your warrior. Right hand reaches to the sky. One big breath in. On your exhale, hinge forward to your side angle and pause. So this time you can rest your right forearm on your thigh. If you wanted to go into the deeper version again, right hand to the earth. Just listen to your body. Then take your left hand behind your head. Pull your front ribs in. With your left hand behind your head, press your head into your fingers, your skull into your fingers. Like you're trying to press your head back. Take your left elbow back in space. So your left shoulder blade presses into the back of your heart. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, find that curl crunch in a cat spine. So exhale, curl your left elbow towards your right. Cat your spine, pull your navel to your spine and push through your feet. As you breathe in, you're gonna open back up, reach your left hand to the ceiling. And exhale to your warrior two, press your feet, stack up tall with your spine. Awesome, star pose, turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your yoga mat and reach your hands to the ceiling. Yeah. And then we're gonna take a goddess squat. So bring your heels in and your elbows wide. Yeah, so nice wide squat here. If you need to change the placement of your feet, you can pull your front ribs in, take an inhale. On your exhale, eagle wrap your right arm underneath your left. If a full double wrap doesn't work for your body, just bring the backs of your hands together. You can also just bring your forearms together instead, push together to center. Now with your breath in, as you squeeze your arms together, lift your elbows up to the sky, a little baby back bend. On your exhale, curl like a cat spine, draw your elbows to your belly, let your head fall heavy. Fingertips reach in the direction of the earth as you cat your spine. With an inhale, we're gonna lift back up again. Keep your seat low, just lift your fingertips. Exhale through your goddess arms, open across your heart. You're gonna take your hands to your thighs. Take a breath in here, lengthen your spine. On your exhale, dip your right shoulder to the midline and look over to the left. So kind of similar to what we did on our belly at the very beginning of class. Let's twist. Inhale through your center line. Then go ahead and switch left shoulder in, look to the right. As you breathe in, you're gonna lift up through your center. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold, turn your toes forward and hinge down. Should feel really good after all of that. Take a halfway lift through your torso, and then bend your left knee, either side lunge or option to go to Skandasana this time. Right, Skandasana is right toes to the sky. You hug muscle to bone through the right thigh. Okay, go ahead and rotate to your left, low lunge to the back of your yoga mat. As you tip your weight to left foot, standing splits right toes find the ceiling, big breath in. Right, one time Shiva squat, bend and tap your right knee towards your left calf and pause. Lift your heart, push through your left foot, option to bring your hands to heart center for a little balance challenge. Right, from here, you're gonna step your right toes to the back of your yoga mat for high crescent lunge. Press through your feet, big breath in, reach to the sky. And on your exhale, hinge your heart forward and airplane your arms. So a little bit of a different angle here. Fingertips reach back in space, your one long line from crown to right heel. Keep the hinge in your body. Inhale, reach your hands out and overhead. So you're in a reaching crescent. On your exhale, goddess your arms, take your elbows wide, feel your upper back light up. And then breathe in, reach forward again. On your exhale, bring your hands down to the earth to frame your left foot. This time, right fingertips stay low, twist your left hand to the sky. And strong through your right quad. And take your right palm to the earth, and then turn all 10 toes to the left for your horizon lunge. If your hips are really tight, you might have to scoot your left foot a little bit back in space. You're on the knife edge, the pinky edge of both feet. It's like a sideways half pigeon. One time, inhale, sink your hips towards the earth, reach your left hand towards what used to be the top of your yoga mat. And on your exhale, go ahead and lift your hips and unwind into a low lunge facing forward. Push the earth away, lift your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog, big breath in. Go ahead and bend your knee and open your hip as you exhale. You have the option to stay here or take a wild thing, maybe step your left toes behind you. You're gonna micro bend your right elbow so the energy around your shoulder blade lets it a little bit more. You take the effort out of the joints and then go ahead and find your way back into a three-legged dog. Land your left hand and lift your left leg tall. Deep breath in. Place your left foot to the outside of your left hand on your exhale. Then pause here for our breath. You're going to spin your right heel down to the earth so you have that like kind of wide warrior two stance again. Go ahead and reach your right hand to the sky so you're in your deep side angle. Press through your feet as you're ready, rise up to your warrior two. And again, maybe allow your feet to stay in that little bit of a wider stance than what you're used to in warrior two perhaps. Use your left glute to encourage your left knee wide. And then inhale to reverse your left hand up towards the sky. Yeah, perfect. Go ahead and find your side angle on your exhale. Reach your right hand to the ceiling. Remember, you can be any depth for this side angle, but take your right fingertips behind your head. So your right elbow is pointed towards the sky-ish. And then press your skull into your finger pad, leaning your head back a little bit. Make sure your front ribs are hugged in though. And as you take your right elbow towards the wall behind your heart, feel your right shoulder blade press into the back of your heart space. Probably feels pretty sticky here. Take a breath in. And then on your exhale, think cat spin as you curl your heart down towards your left elbow, curl your right elbow in, push into your feet, round your upper back, pull your navel to your spine. We're going to inhale to open back up, right hand reaches tall. Yeah, and then find your warrior two, press to your feet and rise up. 8-star pose, turn all 10 toes forward, reach to the ceiling. Give your legs a moment before we settle into our goddess squat. So heels will come in, sink down low. And again, you have permission to move your feet to find that sweet spot for your body. Okay. Draw your navel as your tailbone gets heavy and take an inhale. We're going to eagle wrap our left arm underneath our right as we exhale. Remember, find your variation in the upper body. Keep your shoulders settled into your torso. But then breathe your fingertips up to the sky. Maybe lift your elbows like a little back bend. Exhale, curl like a cat spine. So think about spreading your shoulder blades wide across the back of your body. You don't have to go low that much. Think about pulling your elbows through your sternum to the back of your heart. Fingertips point towards the earth, shoulders out of ears. Let your head fall heavy towards the ground. Go ahead and breathe in, lift your fingertips to the sky. Unwind through your goddess arms as you breathe out. Hands to your thighs. Take an inhale here. Bend your elbows this time. Then exhale, dip your left shoulder to the midline and look to the right. So oftentimes in this stretch, we have our arms long. Just see how it feels to have your elbows bent, more like that Gecko Pose. Inhale through your center. Keep your elbows bent and then dip your right shoulder and then look over to the left. And sometimes that helps us get into the thoracic spine a little bit more. Cool, inhale through your center. Go ahead and find your wide-legged forward fold. Turn your toes forward and give yourself a pause as you hinge down towards the earth. And from your wide-legged forward fold, we're going to take a big breath in to lift up halfway. Bend into your right knee for side lunge, or option for Skandasana. Again, that's where you flex your left toes up to the ceiling. That's strong dorsiflex of your left foot. Now please spin to the right, so you're in a low lunge facing the top of your yoga mat again. Tip your weight to your right foot, standing splits left leg to the ceiling, take an inhale. Yeah, good. Find a Shiva squat, bend and tap and pause for your exhale. Yeah, so it's like this little like curtsy squat, one-legged curtsy squat. Push through your right foot. Option to bring your hands to your heart for a balance challenge. If you have your hands at your heart, try to press through your right foot to lift your heart off your thigh. Yeah, good job. There you go. Good. High crescent lunge, left toes go back. Press through your feet, breathe up towards the ceiling. I know that's a big transition. On your exhale, airplane your arms beside you, hinge your heart forward. And keep the hinge reaching, crescent, send your arms out overhead as you breathe in. Yeah, there we go. One time, goddess your arms, exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. On your inhale, re-extend your fingers over your skull. Then go ahead and breathe out and bring your hands down to the earth. So we'll twist our right hand to the sky here. If you just wanted to stay here, you could totally just stay in the twist. If you're going to the horizon lunge, bring your left palm down to the earth. Turn all 10 toes to the right. Maybe scooch your right foot back in space. So what that looks like from the front is all 10 toes are going to be facing the long right edge of your yoga mat. It's like you're squaring your pelvis, so pull your left hip forward, hug your right hip back. And inhale, maybe sink your hips down, reach to the back of your yoga mat one time. On your exhale, as you unwind, go ahead and step back into a high plank pose. So you're in a high plank, hands beneath your shoulders, feet step back. Take your feet about hips distance apart. Now, so feet are hips distance, a little bit wider. I'm going to turn all 10 toes to the left for a stagger-footed side plank. So your left foot's in front of your right, reach your left hand to the sky. And then take your left hand behind your head, so fingertips behind your skull, elbow wide. Okay, pause here. You have the option to hold right here, or press into your left foot, your right hand, and bring your right knee towards your chest. So that's your bottom leg is pulling towards your chest. Take an inhale. Maybe exhale your left elbow to your right thigh, curl crunch. I'm going to step back to where you just were, so right foot steps behind your left. Reach your left hand to the sky, big breath in. On your exhale, high plank pose, come through center. Going to second side, you're going to turn all 10 toes to the right. Reach your right hand to the sky. So you're going to side plank, your feet are staggered, your right foot is in front, right hand to the ceiling, good. Take your right hand behind your head, elbow wide. That's a good, Lavanya, good, Chris. Go ahead and take a breath here. Start to push through your right foot and pull your left knee towards your chest. That's your bottom leg. So you want to get all 4 corners of your right foot on the earth. Maybe curl, crunch your right elbow to your left thigh. Yeah, good, that's it, Lindsay, you got it? And step back to where you just were, that stagger-footed side plank. Take a breath in, I know it's a lot. High plank pose, come through center. Either take a chaturanga, shift forward to flow, or just go back to downward facing dog. We're gonna meet in child's pose when you're ready. I'm gonna take 2 more really slow breaths in your child's pose. Then go ahead and find your way up to a seat. So, how are we doing? Cool, cool. Couple of thumbs ups. So we're gonna take a seated stretch before we lower to the back body. This is gonna be kind of a Gomukhasana variation. We'll be moving towards Gomukhasana, so if you wanna go there, great. If at any point your knees are like, this isn't for me today, a cross-legged seat or a double pigeon might feel better. So as we start to head into it, I'll give you the options as we go as well, but just know that your knees are gonna help you determine where you go within this. So go ahead and start with your legs out in front of you for Pashimotonasana, so just a seated forward fold. Untuck the flesh of your booty out from beneath your sits bones. You can have some softness in your knees. And then go ahead and flex your feet to the sky and reach your hands to the ceiling with an inhale. On your exhale, you're gonna hinge forward any amount. You don't have to go very far. Don't worry about how close you are to the earth. Think about the hinge action of your hips. So think cow spine, energetically send your tailbone back in space and up to the sky. And think about lifting your heart up. So your cow spine, heart and tailbone tall. Also think about pulling your thigh bones, your femur bones into your pelvis as your heart goes forward. Flex your feet. Take one more breath in. And one more breath out. And sit up to a tall torso. And then bend your right knee. And you're going to take your right thigh across your left. So this is like half Gomukhasana. So your knees are relatively in line, and your right foot is by your right hip. It's kind of like eagle legs, but like not. If at this point you're like, I think my knees, this is not going to be for me, you would cross your right shin in front of your left or your right shin on top and just take a forward fold here. So either cross-legged or double pigeon. If you have the half Gomukhasana, make sure there's a micro bend in your left knee joint so you're not putting pressure on extended joint that's completely extended. Reach your hands to the sky with an inhale. Then hinge forward any amount as you exhale. And you might not go as far as you did the first round, because one, you have your right thigh at your belly, but also this is a little bit deeper for the hamstrings. You can wiggle your right foot more to the left. Sometimes you can get more of the outer right glute involved. Good. Take one more breath here. This is a really hamstring-oriented stretch for the left hamstring. If you want to focus on the hamstring stretch, stay where you're at. If you want to go towards full Gomukhasana legs, go ahead and rise up. You're going to bend your left knee and bring your left heel to your seat. Now, so your knees are in line. Make sure both sits bones are grounded. Your shin bones are crossed. Flex your feet, tall through your torso. If you wanted to fold forward again, take a breath in to reach up high, and exhale, fold forward over your Gomukhasana legs. And flexing through your feet to help support your knee joints. Take 2 breaths here. If you have folded forward any amount, go ahead and slowly rise up tall through your torso. Gently unwind your legs, maybe help them out. And then take a couple windshield wipers with your knees from side to side to release that. Good. And we'll find second side. So you're going to send your right leg out long. Okay. Your left knee will bend it towards your body and then cross your left thigh over your right for that half Gomukhasana. Sometimes you have to kind of like plug your right thigh bone back in. Sometimes you have to adjust your left leg and just wiggle until you find that sweet spot. Left ankle's flexed. Again, if you're taking the cross-legged version, it's left shin in front or left shin on top for double pigeon. And then reach your hands to the ceiling as you breathe in. Maybe hinge forward as you breathe out. Make sure you have the micro bend through your right knee. Flex your right toes to your face. And as you untuck your tailbone, find that cow spine action again. So tailbone's going back and up, heart is going tall. If you feel the stretch in your right hamstring at like the crease of your booty cheeks or at the base of your booty cheek, that's maybe moving towards overstretching. So back out a little bit so that the stretch stays in the belly of the muscle. So right in like the meaty part of the hamstring versus like that insertion point of where the hamstring and the glute come together. Go ahead and choose if you want to stay here in the hamstring oriented stretch, the hamstring focused stretch, or rise up and start to make your way to full Gomukhasana legs. So now both knees are bent, feet are flexed. Make sure that your left sitting bone and your right sitting bone can connect to the earth. And again, if you want to, you can reach up high and then hinge forward on your exhale. You don't have to go very far. And over time, instead of having your heels way close to your seat, you'll start to bring your heels more in line with your knees, actually. Yeah. And get more of the outer hip. Last 2 breaths, and then we'll be on our back bodies. Oh, wherever you are, take as much time as you need. And then when you're ready, you're gonna rise up and out. Help your legs out of this. Especially if you're kind of towards that deepest part, that deepest edge within your body. Give your hips a little bit of time to readjust. Then scooch forward so you have room to lean back into. You can either just hug your knees into your chest and relax to your back body, or maybe you find your heel anchors or any sort of core connection and lower back slow. So eventually we'll take a breath in to reach up high. And if you are using your core, take your time to slowly travel back in space. Press through your heels. You have your heel anchors, and just let the strength of your belly descend you all the way down to the earth. Once you arrive to your back body, take a full body stretch. Reach your hands up and overhead. Spread your fingers, spread your toes, big breath in. And then bring your knees into your chest on your exhale. Find your way into a happy baby pose. So this can be hands to shins. You can just open your knees wide. You can also reach up to your ankles or to your feet. Feel free to take a little bit of movement here, rocking side to side, or you can extend a leg or both. Big breath in. And on your exhale, go ahead and bring both knees to your chest again. Take both knees either over to the left into a gentle twist, or take your hands to your right shin, extend your left leg out first, and then take your right thigh across you into a supine twist. So either supine twist or knee stacked. Your lower body goes to the left, take your gaze maybe over to the right. And take one more slow breath here. And then just a simple switch to the second side of whatever twist you've chosen. So if your knees are stacked, just come through center, stack your knees to the right. You have the asymmetrical variation, draw your left thigh in and send your right leg out long. And pause for your inhale and twist on your exhale. Can you feel your breath in your body? Can you feel every breath in and every breath out? Can you feel how your body responds to your breath? How your heart responds to your breath? How your mind responds to your breath? Can we be reminded how our breath is one of our most powerful tools? And not only in our mindful connection to the moment, but in also shifting our inner state, our internal state. When you're ready to come back through center, just bring both knees into your chest. Maybe curl your nose up to your knees as you take one more breath into the back of your body. And then go ahead and exhale and release into your Shavasana. Send your legs out long. Let your arms rest on the earth beside you. Keep in mind, if you prefer seated meditation to close your practice, you can also rise up to a seat. And end your class from a tall spine. When you arrive to whatever shape you'd like to close practice in. If it feels okay to close your eyes, allow your eyes to close. And again, turn your attention to your breath. And you might return to that breath awareness that we started practice with. So as you draw an inhale in, you might say to yourself that I am here. And as you release that exhale away, you may say to yourself, I let go of all distractions. And those phrases can be adjusted and customized to what feels true for you. Let every inhale be your reminder of this moment, you present to your practice. Let every exhale be that invitation to let go, to release, to set aside, to surrender. Go ahead and let your breath begin to deepen. And if, as you start to deepen your breath, a part of you feels really comfortable and content where you are, and you prefer just to continue to rest on the earth, continue to sink into that support below, and go ahead and just stay exactly as you are. If you feel called to bring some movement back in, maybe start to reawaken your fingers, toes, hands, and feet, taking circles through your ankles and your wrists. It might feel nice to take a full body stretch as you breathe in and reach your hands up overhead. Then you can either bring your hands to your heart and continue to rest on your back body, or if you prefer to end your practice in a seat, go ahead and slowly make your way up to a seat, a tall spine. And wherever you end your practice, right, eyes closed or gaze soft, hands at your heart, wherever feels true for you. Take this final moment to acknowledge these 60 minutes that you took to be present, to practice moving mindfully, to see what happens when obstacles and challenge arise, and to try to meet those challenges skillfully. And so honoring this practice that we move through together, as well as the ancient roots of the practice itself. Let's take one more deep breath in through the nose. And when we're clearing, exhale out of your mouth, let it go. May yoga offer us a path to compassion. And may our practices serve as our teachers, leading us to live more authentically, love more deeply, and see more clearly each and every day. Thank you so much for moving and breathing with me this morning. And namaste.